It's time to dive straight into Cafe. Elimination matchup between these sides, and who would have thought G2, the world champions, would be in this position? However, they do tend to have a lower bracket buff, and will that be a factor today?
Well, what happened with it the last time G2 went in a lower bracket run in a tournament with a massive prize pool?
I think let me wind back the months and go. Oh, was it in Montreal where they became the world champions?
I think you're right. So last time we saw G2 in the lower bracket,
okay,
they went and well, I saw that Alamo wanted $5 million to not ban Ashe, and it looks like the deal was not picked up by the side of Falcons, so they did elect to ban Ashe. So you're getting rid of Doki again. Obviously, we know how impactful that operator is with the global ability. Valk's been removed on the defensive side. Again, one of the OP operators. Now it's pick your poison time. Do you want to ban Solus and deal with Fenrir? Do you want to ban Fenrir and deal with Mira? Honestly, it's not a choice that I envy whatsoever. And you can tell by the time it took Falcons to make up their mind, it was not an easy one for them either. And on Cafe, they're getting rid of Kaid.
Right. So that's not what I would have done, but I am a caster with a 0.8 KD this season, so I don't think I can talk too much. What I'll say is, we saw G2 utilize the mirror windows exceptionally well on their upstairs defenses. Actually, anytime they needed to hold upstairs, they did a really good mirror setup, making basically all of Piano untenable for anyone on the attacking side. That's going to be a very difficult thing to break down for Falcons, and that's on the board. So a mirror ban would have been highly impactful, but you also kind of have that problem. You have a Fenrir, you have a lot to deal with, and look at the lineup G2 have to break down. They have an Azami, a Mira, and a Fenrir. Lots of utility to go through, and Jalad on that Thor, newly crowned with a 1.5.
You know the whole idea of the what is it? The glove. Oh my god, it's left my brain. But basically, they've picked the 5 most OP operators that were left. You know, I don't think they could have picked a more.
I'm sorry, I want to go back.
Matchup.
What glove are you talking about?
The one, you know the film. He clicks his fingers, and everyone vanishes the dust, just like the viewership right now, listening to us trying to work out what it was called again.
It's been a long day. I know that, but I think I might have to wheel you back home at this point. Not sure what.
I'm old, okay? I'm old. I'm old. My mind goes wandering.
Just like you, late at night.
But look, I'm not the oldest caster. You know, there's always that. There's always that.
It's a close fight between you and him, I believe.
There's nearly a decade between me and Smith. Come on. Anyways, G2 currently on attack here on Cafe. They're going through their list by leaving that side of the wall soft. It makes the hatch drop a little bit more difficult for the player playing by Piano. I know you used to play in a strat similar, but Benja with Nook will just sneak up white stairs and gets the opening. Now Benja can play that mirror and watch it the other way. Nobody's going to push from Cocktail just yet, so they're going to give him freedom of this side of the map, because again, they're trying to go down. That nade will be delivered into the bathroom. Alamo will catch the players they tried to run on out, so good teamwork coming through from G2. They've got themselves a 4 versus 3. The vertical control secured, but there is 2 players on white. Make it was Virtue playing outside on top of the AC, is able to find another one.
Diffuser has been dropped.
Whoa, P9 will find one, the Gemini, and that's going to be a huge pick. That gives Falcons a chance at a second one as well. Looks up the hatch and finds Benja. Huge opening, a huge trade of kills. I know, a minute 20 to work. Lots of change in a triple for P9. The D-More has G2's number and a 4K for Falcons. Take away the Ashe. They don't care. They need a DMR. And the opening round goes to Falcons.
And forcing Alamo in particular to have a drink of nondescript cup of something to get himself going. I
believe that was a Gamers8 branded beverage, I believe, so.
Yeah, probably warm too.
When we say it's gamer, it's.
You can tell we're not. You can tell we're not allowed to mention brands here, can't you?
No,
but look,
we don't work on a branding team, so I can't even think of a creative name involving Gamers8 for it. But it's.
We've been on broadcast too long, mate. We've gone. Anyways, G2 lose the first round on attack on Cafe. No surprises there whatsoever. But it was a really good bounce back from P9. When you think about it, G2 did everything really well in the top floor. They cleared it. Benja got in the building, got control of the cocktail side, used the nade to clear the player in the bathroom, funneled him towards Alamau, who was able to get the kill. But even with Virtue playing outside and holding white stairs, P9 was able to battle back from below on the unfavorable angle. At the end of the day, you'd always rather be on the top floor looking down than the bottom floor looking up, but P9 still wins those.
That was confidence to take those engagements. And remember when we were talking about this before we got into it? And I thank you, chat. I actually like Gamers Hydrate. There we go.
I like that too.
Thank you, chat, for that one. See, this is smarter than us half the time, to be honest. But for G2, I talked about how they were going to be effective on the offense, and that's where they need to find the success. Well, if we have players like P9 continue to pop up and cause problems in terms of mechanics and winning fights, G2 might not have as easy a time as they would have liked.
No, they definitely won't. So now Kodos is playing over by VIP. Doki with the glass is able to find a kill looking through that wedding window, but still a player remains in position. P9's going to get aggressive though. He's got the confidence and he's got the aim. Down goes Doki, and the smoke blooms just a little bit too late for Glass's utility to have an impact. So, Butte still in position. Still utility being pushed on through, but still the player in bakery, P9, causing a lot of trouble for G2, and Virtue is just a little bit too late, and well, he is a little bit too late as P9's able to find another one. Someone stop this man. 6-0.
This is a problem. Do not let this player show up, because I don't think G2 can do too much to contain him at this point. And the SMG-11, a potent weapon in his skillful hands. And P9 controlling the tempo of this one. The next player to step up to the gauntlet is outside of bakery. That's Yana. That's Alamau. How will this fight go against P9? He's just waiting, patient, holding on, doesn't need to overextend, doesn't need to show his hand. Delicate game of chess. Who will peak first? You'll hear that Gemini going off, and that's going to be Kotos to find one of the Gemini. A rotation, and P9 doesn't want to stay too much longer, falls back inside of sight, and a wise choice.
Yeah, Benja still hasn't got inside the building with Nook just yet either, and two defenders in place to hold him. Make it three. You've got one in VIP, one on the stairs, and one playing close to red as well. Benja does eventually get in, and he's going to get some support from Alamo. He's going to get a free kill here onto the Fenrir. Down goes a Joker 619. And they've taken control now of Whiskey and Reception. But that is still not sight. That's still not objective. Alamau is going to get into another gunfight here. Takes a lot of lead while Benja is in another gunfight. O'Kills finds one. There's P9 down, but P9 will not fall. O'Kills gets the kill. And Falcons take a 2-0 lead.
Last year at Gamers8, we were curious to see how Falcons would play. We had never seen a team from MENA engage, and we were told one thing by a good friend of ours and then analyst at the desk, Tristan, the coach of Koi, said these players are legit. They are scary and some of the best mechanical players you've ever seen. Right now is the prime example of that. G2 structurally may be better, but they cannot win their ones. You have a player like P9 who seems to be unstoppable, yet to be slain. And when everyone like O'Kills is able to fire off and have an impact in a round, G2 are in a world of hurt. That's what Falcons need to do. Keep on the pressure. Do not slow down and stay relentless with this pressure, because G2, you can't win a gunfight, you can't win a round.
Exactly. You couldn't have said it better myself. Round 3. Vertical is being set up by Falcons again whenever you... So my brain just left a second, but you know that setup that we see with the mirror, you're going to play over by the pallet side. You look in through freezer, you open up the head holes all the way into piano. Now, with Azami being able to play in position as well between the piano and that mini bar, it means that you've got to cover on two sides. So if the player steps up to try to take on Azami, the player on the mirror should be able to stop. Best way to deal with that mirror is usually to put some pressure from cocktail side, use some nades and try to force them out of position. But G2, they look like they're cooking something a little bit different. Benja is going to drone out red stairs, and don't be surprised if we see him creeping in through red, pushing towards pillars and trying to take down some of those players that are playing on site.
Question I have for you, Gibby. Do G2 try something different? Do they maintain this? Do they fight fire with fire and try and go aggressive? Or do they slow this down and try to bait mistakes from Falcons? Again, a team that's, you know, they've been together for a while playing domestically. They've just had their very first Tier 1 league introduced, and they might be a little bit more green. But it's going to be the opening pick. Falcons find that once again, Alamau is first to go. You lose that Yana, you lose one set of your nades. That's a problem for G2.
Yeah, Benja, here's the player in the corner as well, but the nade's going to come through. Solus will begin to peek, but with your gadget out, Benja will win that 10 times out of 10. But it's down to him and Doki, the 1-2 punch that's been so successful for G2 in the past. But Falcons, Jalad, Kotos, and a Joker 619 in position, chasing the kills. They've got the fear going off, and that's a freebie for Jalad. But there's Benja to trade that one back, but it is a tough task. Kotos and Joker. Benja, though, if there's one thing he has in abundance, it's talent. And if he's something he's got plenty of, it is time.
A minute 10 and change to work with. He has that Nook. Now remember, latest patch of the game, Nook's no longer silent when in that hell suppression system. So he's still audible even when his gadget's only for observations. And look at the Fenrir choking him out and relaying exactly what his intentions are. He'll creep and shoulder bait to try and find some shots towards him inside of Piano, but nothing presents itself solidly. He'll creep and crawl his way all the way down long bar, trying to find a flank. But will this be successful? I think he's got a good amount of information. He's going to bait a plant. C4 ripped and ready. He's very exposed. But do Falcons know? I don't think they do. Benja pops up, but can't find it. Shut down. And it's a 3-0 sweep for Falcons.
Color me impressed. I am so impressed by the way Falcons have started off in these first few rounds. They're taking on G2 right up close and personal and winning their ones. Benja got the case down, but it was in a pretty difficult position for him to try to hold his spot, and G2 lose another round. I'm impressed. Do you know what else I was impressed by with? But actually, I'm segueing here for a second.
Go on then, segue away.
Gunnar from Sonics was impressed by the way you were speaking about Spoit, and he wanted to know, would you ever speak about Gunnar the way that you speak about Spoit? Gunnar, this is from me. Gunnar, you're the GOAT.
If I'm ever on the mic for a Sonics game, Gunnar, you will be the greatest player to have ever picked up a mouse and played Rainbow Six Siege. Simple as. However, you're not a Gamers8, so I can't say it this weekend.
I hope that makes him happy. I hope that's what he wanted to hear. We always want to make players feel happy because, of course, the players are the main characters whenever we get shows like this. So we're waiting to get stuck into this next game. Again, let's play the body language game once more. The players from Falcons, they look focused. Not really, too excited looking, not really looking distracted. And on the side of G2, they're 3-0 down, but they look very, very relaxed.
Yeah, I mean, G2, again, veterans of the space. They have been playing the game for a very, 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 very long time. They're not going to be stressed yet. It's a best of 3. There's no need to panic. There's no need to make drastic decisions yet. But for G2, they need to start getting around on the board right here, right now. You cannot let this momentum continue to build for Falcons. The timeout, a great decision to try and correct these mistakes. But ultimately, Falcons in their movement, gunplay, and coordination have basically swarmed G2 like a hive of bees and just attack them at all angles and relentlessly. Can they find a way to slow that down, get themselves in the match?
That's the question that's going to be asked. G2 now hoping to win one of those tertiary sites. Jalad getting very aggressive, trying to get not necessarily a spawn peak, but catch one of those G2 players cold when they're pushing their way in. Benja's going to make his way up onto that cocktail window, has a little peek, realizes that there's a long line of sight, changes his mind. But again, we're looking at where G2 are trying to apply pressure, right? They're putting pressure on the top floor. They're going to use Flores in tandem with, well, please don't use the Flores to open the hatch, whatever.
No.
Good. Flores.
Okay, good. I was beginning to get a little bit worried, but the Flores drone goes all the way in. Okay, it did.
Yes.
That was a big build up for that one. I was like, wait a minute, what was that sound? As Alamo's first to fall again. C4 lobbed, and we will lose a Brazilian player on the side of G2. The floor is for Joker to move out of positions. It detonates off the distance. But G2, once again, suffer the opening blow. Benja gets it back towards O-Kills, but once again, the narrative of this round is Alamo's died early, you've lost your Yana, the tip of the spear has been dulled, and 2 nades are gone. Massive blow in terms of utility and firepower for G2.
Yeah, Jalad is just doing a great job of being a problem for G2. Now,
oh, I don't know if Gibson has vanished or not. I've lost him in my ears. Oh, you're stuck with me now. I'm unfortunate for that. Oh, Gibson's back. Oh no. I thought I was giving him a moment. Execution seems to arrive. Virtue of fire one the Joker, and a 3 versus 3 to ensue. Jalad is going to try and get scrappy with it on Falcony and does so. And P9 will find 2 with the DMR. Falcons find round number 4 and make it 4 in a row. Yibby, it disappeared from me for a moment.
here's what happened. I stepped into an FNAT and the fear got me, and everything on my screen disappeared for a moment. But we're back. It's okay. Whippet's not alone. I know that Whippet, you get a little bit worried sometimes when you're left unattended for too long, but I'm here. You'll be fine.
What? Okay, fair enough. Whatever you say. Yeah, that's me. That's me. So, Falcons, 4 rounds in a row against G2. I'm not gonna lie. I was not expecting this level of domination from Falcons. I know how good these 5 players are on this side. I know how good Falcons can be on their day. But I was not expecting this level of dominance. And it has been a joy to watch. G2, there's been no answer yet. The aggression, the coordination from Falcons has been too much. You have the firepower, you have Doki, you have Benja, but it just hasn't lined up. And a change of strategy now for G2. They brought out the Monty, and this might find, and that might be the key to success. With the amount of utility with like these Fenris and the Samis to deal with, it will be a very difficult round, even with the shield ahead of them.
Well, a lot of players and fans went into this wondering, you know, what was happening. Falcons last-minute substitution. Koto's coming for Valentino. He's going 5-1. P9, the main character so far, though. But finally, G2 managed to find the opening pick. Down goes O-Kills. And now G2 can play the way that they were meant to. They're a team that play really well whenever they've got numbers advantage. And now this is where G2, I really think that they're playing the meta well. They've brought Monty this time around, one of the only teams outside of Brazil and CAG that use Monty the right way. So look, what they're doing is forcing players back and getting kills. Gemini is able to get that one, but now Jalad is going on the flank. Information feeded. A Joker 619 playing way offside as well. This should be a cut and dry round win for G2.
A great change up from G2. The Monty causes them a lot of problems for Falcons, and the plant goes down. Advantage sits in the 5 versus 2 as well, and with the Monty bearing down in the post plant, it's basically a 1 round for G2. However, I have a bit of a power play on a caster curse, but that doesn't last long as G2 break the streak of Falcons with a flawless round. They needed that so much, and that could be enough to lift their spirits and get them back into this matchup. But Falcons, it has been a crazy performance so far from them, and a 4-1 advantage is still mega.
And I want you to, if you can, watch that game back as a fan and see this is a great way to attack this site. So what G2 did was they got a player on wedding window. They got a little bit of pressure over by the cocktail or whiskey side of the map by reception, which meant that any players playing around, playing around whiskey, any players playing by coat check, they couldn't be comfortable. By them putting a player on wedding window, it meant that the player playing in that section of the map, their only option was to go back up red stairs or back to site. Then you use Monty in tandem with a player pushing in through bakery door to force the player who's playing in Bakery into an unwinnable position, because 9 times out of 10, there's not going to be anybody close enough to play the trade game for that player. That is a very good way to set up to do that attack. And again, it's something that Liquid, G2, W7M, and I'd even argue NIP, whenever they're on their day, do very well.
Agreed. I'm enamored right now by this matchup, Gibby. Right? I've got a massive smile on my face. Not only I cheer for underdogs, I support G2 inside of Europe. I'm still cheering for Falcons in this one. 4-1 scoreline, domination, aggression, high tempo siege, everything I love to see. And early fights happening already as O'Kills takes a beating from the DMR outside. Actually, no, that's going to be Yana who finds those shots down from mining. Great opening for G2. Couldn't convert that to a kill, but an investment to later on as that Solace is now wounded for the rest of the round.
Yeah, and now the question is, can Solace just keep your head out of trouble for a while? Use your utility, try to slow down the attack, keep the numbers game level, or even better, find that opening pick. Now, again, it looks like G2 are going to face up the strongest area of this Falcons defense, and that is the 2-man hole that's inside Piano. Benja misses the opportunity to get the kill, and he misses it a second time as the siege timing is going to be his worst enemy. But another Falcon falls, and another Falcon still on low HP. Look at this now, P9, Joker, and O'Kills in a 5 versus 3. But I expect that G2 will attempt at some point get a player over to get the res. But I love the fact that Falcons are holding and Joker's able to find the kill.
No res. Player on cocktail window very narrowly misses the opportunity to get a freebie onto the Latwamai. Not given its opportunity just yet. Falcons do trail by 1 player, 4 versus 3. A minute and change for G2 to begin the work this execution. But remember, Falcons are pretty fearless. It doesn't really matter if you have the advantage or not. They're confident to take those fights. And both players of G2 that don't have the case, they're all on rappel outside a cocktail window or on rappels. One member alone, Gemini, holds that case at top red. If he goes down to a potential flank, that could be a disaster. And no, there's no way, there's no drone here watching for P9. Give it an absolute freebie. G2 need a flank for that one. And Alamau falls. Benja repels in. He'll drop prone and hide. Just waiting for that chance.
Yeah, I think we may have just lost the feed for just a moment. But yeah, there we go. We don't know what happened in that one. And there's no fist bumps from the players either, so I'm assuming they might have timed out as well.
I believe we've had a server crash. That would be my prediction with that one. So unfortunate. That was a tense round for that one. You got to feel for both teams in that. That was a proper 50-50 after that. But Gibby, take a moment to now breathe and relax and reset. We've seen a high tempo game of Siege. Do you think that's going to be continuable? Do you think Falcons have the stamina for a best of 3 to keep that pace going, especially if this map goes their way?
We know they do. Think back to Gamers8 last year where they made it all the way to the final, and that game against Wild where it went all the way on that final map of Villa. They've shown that they've got the stamina to play a long day and play it through to completion. G2, we know the exact same story from them, but I think the big thing that Falcons need to do is play their game, right? A lot of players might get enamored or worried by the fact that they're playing against G2. That name carries weight in esports, right? Falcons need to just focus on playing their game and finding a way to just keep chipping away. When you've got the lead that they have already, a 4-1 lead on defense, if you can win 1 round now for every 2 that G2 do, you're doing pretty well. So if you keep the old school 4-2 split the other way, they'll go ahead and take this win.
Okay. I'm looking at this. I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to look at the body language of all the players going on right now. So it's not a pleasant time after a round like that to go into a tech pause. They seem to be already in reset, sort of getting ready again, posturing up for this. G2 look pretty well composed, pretty well relaxed. They don't seem nervous, even though the deficit is so large. Falcons, a little bit more unsettled, actually. I think they're beginning to feel the levity of the position that they're in.
I think so, but again, they've rushed into an early lead. They've shown that they can go head-to-head when it comes to straight-up gunfights. Keep the positivity rolling. You know what I'd like to talk about?
I don't know.
You know
It,
the way, you know the way
it could
last
be
night.
it could be siege or it could be the weather. I don't.
Anything. Do you remember last year when BDS started playing Shaiko sitting in the middle? And it was at Gamers8, I
Yes.
think, was the first time that they did it. And the reason that they did was so that Shaiko can look in the two monitors either side and essentially drone himself at times without actually having to use a drone. I'm looking at Doki's positioning for G2 between Benja and Alamo. Those three on that side of the table are the three that you would expect to be your round winners, right? Doki really needs to play off of those two around him and get some momentum going because, again, I think he is one of the best players that we have in Siege right now when he is on it. But I just don't think that we've seen Doki today at all. And, you know, as a fan of Siege, you want to see Doki playing to the best of his ability because he is one of the best players in the world right now.
I agree. I mean, we just all you have to think about is that, you know, obviously we look back to the best form G2 have been in a very long time, which is going to be the Invitational back in February. Doki was one of the players that was so close to being the highest kill player at that event, has consistently been high impact for G2. And he's not had the showing, as you said, that we would have expected so far. But first day of the competition, so it's not too scary yet, I would say.
Not yet. And, you know, we're seeing a lot of people talking about the Gemini pick as well. We're fans of Gemini going to G2, right? We know what he done on Makers. Very good player. But again, chemistry for 99 out of 100 roster moves, chemistry is not instant. It takes time to build it. Gemini is going from playing on a team where, as far as I know, in Makers, they communicated inside or in Italian for a long time, right? He's one of the players that you and I said on that Makers roster that was good enough to play at this level, the tier 1 level. And it's going to take time for him to fill in. Again, he's a very different player from Blur. We've given Blur his flowers earlier. We said Blur was really good at what he does, but G2 want to go into an area where essentially even the players that play soft support have the gun skill to go ahead and, you know, win their ones and clutch their 1vx's. Gemini has that, but it's not going to come on this G2 roster at the very first event. It's going to take time. O'Kills will step on out, get rid of a couple of cams. Look, that's great. Job done. But again,
That's
my point is
4 cams destroyed, Gibby, by the way.
4 or 5. But my point is, I think that if G2 get the win today and play into tomorrow and get to the next round, Gemini will get better and G2 will get better at every stage they go through.
I think you've put it the most mature I've heard someone actually word that so far. I agree exactly with you. I think I would have put it, let him cook. Would have been how I would have described it. But I think you've done it in a more elegant, more sophisticated fashion. Flores drones detonating as well. They're trying to clear some space for G2. Get themselves that utility clear for basically free. Though my might will catch one nade and force his army out of position, so ticket as the keeper barrier is deployed to help add that extra bit of cover as P9 will find the opening as Alama once again finds himself on the receiving end of that opening death. Not the start that Alama would have wanted so far.
Yeah, I think, is that... I know we've lost the stats, but I think that's P9's 9th or 10th kill as well in 5 rounds. He is having himself a game so far for Falcons. And the big thing for Falcons is the opening pick. They've got it nearly every single round so far. And G2, the way that they play, is built for playing either level with numbers or having a man advantage. So they need to find a way to get this kill back. Benja almost does get it playing the vert, but when he's unable to find it, he's going to get back on the move again. And Kronos is going to make the problem a little bit worse, compounding misery as he finds the kill on the Virtue as well. 5 versus 3.
Gemini looks to get one back and does so, but Jalad finds an instantaneous trade on the Benja. They lose that knock, they lose that firepower, but Doki's DMR fires away and finds kills, but Jalad from distance finds a second. Gemini, the latest edition, all alone. Will find one. This gives a lifeline. If you can isolate these fights, it's certainly winnable. The case is cold. The likelihood that you can recover that is very, very slim. So looking to play this around the rifle, looking to find the kills to get the job done. But that mirror window precedes such a problem. They have all the information. They'll know he'll likely push on right, and they can react accordingly. Gemini might be walking into the final few moments of this round, and P9 with a perfect pre-fire. Falcons back on the horse.
Yeah, that's another really good round by Falcons. Good decision making at every single level, and they managed to clutch out another round. Look, this is what you expect from Falcons. We wanted them to make this game a gunfight, but there's more to it than that. By saying they're just really good with their, with their weapons would be, I think you'd be selling them pretty short. They've got a clear plan on defense. It's get aggressive in the first minute. Don't give G2 easy access to the building. After that first minute is up, they drop back just a little bit, which puts G2 off tempo a little bit more. And then in the last minute again, they turn up the tempo. They're not letting G2 settle into their game. They're upsetting the rhythm. They're impacting their ability to enter the building. And that is a pretty good plan that they have for playing against G2.
Those opening engagements is what really stands out to me for the side of Falcons. Now, we love to talk about how basically the opening engagement could be one of the most critical fights around it. It lets you get into the map. Typically, that's how that fight happens. It's the little roamer that tries to extend you, get that fight off and get map control. But Falcons are so aggressive with it. G2 basically were cautious and a little bit concerned about their entry, and they could never get it clean. Alamau ran into the opening engagement 3 or 4 times and tended to lose it more often than not. For Falcons, the question now is when you're on the offense and you need to make things happen and you need to go towards your enemies, are you going to be able to do that and bring that same tempo, pace, and aggression on this side for G2? I'd imagine they want to slow this down a little bit and catch a little bit of a breather and begin to claw back at this game.
Yeah, now's where the real question is posed to Falcons. You've done more than enough on defense to win this game, but can you do the business on attack? And historically, I think G2 are a team that I prefer watching on defense because now they can play their game. They're the ones that are going to attempt to disrupt the pace. Now, again, look at the positions. Gemini is playing below the hatch for that drop with the Wamai. The longer he stays there, the more of those discs that he can throw out to prevent the push. You've got everyone else from G2 a little bit further away. Now, if they identify that, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of pressure put on that hatch drop because G2 want them to come from red, but Virtue is going to find the kill on the Joker. And again, opening pick has been pretty decisive in this game so far, Whippet.
Yeah, it has been, and it's a huge one that Virtue finds it. P9 was an absolute demon on that weapon, on that DMR in the defense. Now Virtue starts off with the Aruni DMR. Tries to find that I've got that opening with it. For G2, slowing the pace down. Falcons a little bit slower this time. Shalad with not many options, might have to tank this damage, has a flashbang. Doesn't want to give away that position, wants to act a little bit quicker for it. And just a game of patience. Rotation now, or Heaven Window Repel, looking for perhaps an overextended G2 member, and that's what Virtue will do. Gives a freebie away, and that's going to be a run out. Oh my, Alamo gets caught out and shut down. G2's advantage fades, but Gemini claws it back. Smokes spent out, and that's going to give Glaz an opportunity to drop and use that thermal. But anyone be daring enough to peek it? Well, Benja doesn't need to peek. He sideswipes and finds P9. Leave it all down to Flores, and that's D4 nearly a perfect delivery. But the round all but one jump out from Heaven should wrap this up. 30 seconds, Gibby. Think there's a way for Falcons to win this round? I think Gibby has disappeared once again, everybody. So I'll jump back in for this one. So 3 versus 1. It's going to be an ascent of the main stairs. Nope, it's going to be a rotation all the way to Brown. I have a feeling that this round, well, I think it's pretty safe to say that this round is over. And I think Gibby, I think he's going to be able to jump back. Hello, Gibby, you back?
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm not sure what's happening, but Falcons...
I think I've lost Gibby again. He's gone again. Gibby, I know you don't want to... Gibby, he sees Falcons lose a round, and he's like, oh no, he doesn't want to even see it. G2 get one claw back for them, and a very good job indeed. Flurry of kills and aggression matching the tempo of Falcons. Very well played from them. Can G2 begin to claw this one back? Because I think I've got word that maybe my co-caster is back again. Gibby, are you there? Nope. Nope. Still isn't here, unfortunately, for this one. So we continue alone into this one. I can see chat, by the way, all of you guys, and I see that Gibby is being hacked by Fabian, unfortunately. Not allowed to get into this one to watch the action unfold ahead of him.
Don't know for how long. Okay, we'll see.
Hello.
We'll see what happens this time. And look, I know the chat are pretty happy that I'm gone. I know that they're disappointed. They were enjoying their intimate time when it was just you and them.
Me and chat had a
I'm
great
back.
conversation about you, Gibby. It was great. Me and chat were able to sit down and nice, relaxing conversation about this matchup. Falcons 5-2 lead on G2. Tremendous stuff, really.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Well, look, I think that's where you excel. Put you in a room with thousands of people to just listen to that. That's your domain.
Oh.
You know?
I want to let you go and ramble away. I had to talk too much. They're bored of me. They get you now for a couple of seconds.
Oh, you want me to talk a little bit? Well, G2.
It's more to see if you don't make sure you stay and don't disappear to the shadow realm again. So off you go.
Yeah. Yeah, so G2 now 3 rounds down against Falcons. Falcons, of course, with that really impressive defensive half. G2 starting theirs the right way. As we move now into round 8, though, this is the pivotal round. Now, you've always said, and
he's gone again! Woo! So, he'll miss John finding the opening pick on the Virtue. An impact toss out to find some damage to 0 kills. Not enough to write home about, but he'll be able to find that. Oh, poor Gibby. Poor Gibby doesn't get to watch all this action. Chat, you are my only companion now for this action. Time to get into this one. 0 kills will find 1 now. Alamau's next to go, and G2 really begin to feel that pressure. 5 versus 3. Double repel on those windows. They've yet to find a significant way to get an entry point, I should say. And he goes out. No, sees timing. Perfect rotation from Benjamaster, but he's gonna be lucky holding on. He's very, very lucky to stay alive in that position. Minute 30. Smoke grenades going out, beginning to think about that potential execution. And G2 still have a very slim and thin hold upstairs. Not really much way to go with. Benja, light stairs, critical position to hold on to. His Kiba still in pocket to work with as well. Just feeling the G2 will let the time do a lot of talking, compress Falcons down, make them begin to solve this puzzle. ARX fires off in the hands of Jalad. 1.5 to fight this from a bit of extra range. Difficult engagement, nearly finds one through the wall. Gemini in a must-win position. You cannot lose this fight and lose control of sight. Decides to retreat, stay in the fight to live another day. Asian drone spots it. More engagements happening around the map. Falcons posture, getting ready, not aware of the presence of Dope upstairs. And this could be a problem. Jalad finds one on the Benja, and now Falcons have all the control they need, leaving it just down the Doki alone upstairs. And I think they've got a perfect read, they do! Shut him down, and Falcons get themselves onto map point here on Cafe, and I said, honestly, in our pre-show that I thought this map would favor G2 heavily. We saw how effective they were against M80, and now, well, against Falcons, it's a whole different beast. G2 struggling a little bit at this point, and, well, do they have a comeback on? I mean, I don't have Gibby anymore. I disappeared, so chat, I'll ask this to you. Do you believe G2 have any chance of a comeback, or are you all believing it is Falcons' time to get a map advantage against the reigning world champions? Seeing a lot of confidence in Falcons, some believers of G2 as well. Match point, a map point here for Falcons. Can they get the job done? Can they topple the world champions in the opening map of this series? Remember, stakes on the line. This is an elimination match for these two teams. The loser of this series goes home. Their time in Riyadh will be over early. No one wants that. A great competition, great amenities, and of course a lovely prize pool for the victor of this one. Who can survive the night? And I think maybe, just maybe, Gibson might be back.
We solved it. We were having
He's
some.
back! He's back!
we might have solved it. Question might have been resolved, but that's the joys of being remote, I guess. But look, we're back in the mix, and I was looking at chat while we were trying to get back in. We see you. We love you. We hope you're doing good. So, 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. This is match point now for Falcons. They're about to make a huge statement if they can take this round. But the big thing about it is the performance, right? We talk about this all the time. You can win a game ugly, you can win a game well. They're winning this one beautifully, and O'Kills gets the opener once more.
Wow. Wow, 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 Gibby. Falcons opening engagement again. Great success from them. Alamau again on the receiving end. Post the rehost. It's not been the desirable round that Alamau would have wanted. And now Falcons, advantage gained again. There, have I left me? Gibby left me alone again.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm listening to you.
I was so worried. I was like, oh, he's gone. He's gone. He's still here. Oh, fuck you.
I was letting you talk. I was letting you talk. You were having a moment there. Speaking about having a moment, though, Falcons are having their moment now as they lead the world champions 6-2. It's something that it doesn't get old the more I say it. They're playing so well. They've got vertical control established. They've still got 2 nades in the back pocket of Joker, so he can try to maybe clear outside. But as you see, all of this side is empty, and it will be until you clear Bakery. And Bakery could be a bit of a problem. So Benja will play there in between Wedding and Bakery, and no pressure from the side of the map whatsoever. But it does look like they might start pressuring through that main kitchen double door if they go down red. But that's a big pick from Benja.
That's what G2 need. Need a way back into this round, and Benja, well, he's provided once again. P9 holds the case on red stairs in a very difficult position. Do you engage Benja, or do you wait for your teammate to get ready? And oh my, he went for the fight, and Benja was just ready, quicker on the draw. And this could be the round G2 needed to get themselves re-energized and back into that nade. So close, does a lot of damage to Benja. The latest Danish sensation tries to have more of an impact with 13 seconds left to go. The round's all but one. Can they flush him out? Eventually they do, but time is the ultimate enemy. There's no way they can stick a plant in this limited time. Surely not! Are you kidding me, Falcons? The dying embers of this, and G2 begin the waiver. Gemini alone to keep G2 alive on Cafe, and O'Kill shuts him down. Falcons have toppled the champions on Cafe. They lead the series 1-0. What a performance.